Hi, welcome. Today I'm making onion powder from scratch. You need a lot of equipment for this though. Namely, you need a dehydrator. You need a whole lot of onions, which I have 25 pounds. And instead of slicing all these onions myself, I'm gonna use the food processor. What I got here is a Cuisinart food processor with the blade attachment set to as thin as I can possibly get it. Can you see that? And then he's cutting the onions down further so they'll fit in this little hole. And from there, they look like that. These bigger pieces here, they'll take too long, so we'll pull those out before we put them in the dehydrator. And now we just have 24.5 more pounds to go. So I made a judgment call. This is after we run it through the blade one time. I've decided to run it through twice. And you can see how much finer it is. These are kind of thick. They'll take a little longer to dry than these. Okay, I decided to do this in fast forward because it took about 10 minutes, but basically you just want to get the onion on the trays as level and flat as you can without stacking them, because you want the air to get between each one of the layers. It's not rocket science or anything. You just want to make sure that the air can get in and around. I think we fit about 15 pounds on here. It's not so bad. Okay, so we got it all grated, sliced, loaded into the dehydrator. As you saw, we had more than it would fit in 9 shelves. This is pretty dense. It's going to take a while. I'm going to set this on about 145 Fahrenheit, and I'm going to put it on 14 hours. And I'll be checking on it. I'll stir it every once in a while. And the next step would be to unload this and grind it all up. Hi, it's the next day, and it's been going over 24 hours. We set it, well, not quite 24 hours. We set it last night about 4 o'clock, and it went till 5 o'clock this morning at 145 degrees. And then I turned off the heat and just let the fan blow for the last, 5.5 hours. And I think it's ready to go. And how you can tell it's ready to go is by checking the thickest piece you can find. Look at that. It's a little dark from the heat. But you see there's these that we didn't quite get ground up enough, and it just turns to powder in your hands. And it's very important that you get as much moisture out of this as you can, because if you don't, it's going to stick together in the jar. So these are plenty dried. The nice thing about this dehydrator is these little screens are flexible. So you can get it over a bowl like this, bend this, and a lot of it will just come out. Just like that. Nice and easy. Now remember, don't spray any Pam or spray or any oil or anything on here, because that'll just soak into the onion and it'll never dry. Now you don't want to crease these too hard, because this is plastic, it's not rubber. It's not like the silicone pads we have. So if there's some of this gets stuck, you really got to get it, just a little spatula, scrape it off. And this is my favorite part. Close up in here. That's awesome. Perfectly dried onion. You can smell it. Now we'll get the rest of these and we'll grind them up. So now we've got all of the onion off of the shelves, and it's time to make powder. And you simply put the dried onion and then you blend. Okay, so now you've got it as ground up as you can get it on the first run. I say first run because what you do now, look how little there is in there now. Now bring it over and sieve it through to catch any bigger spots that didn't grind up. And you can put these back in just like that. Put the lid back on. And repeat. Okay, we've got it all sifted out. It looks pretty. We have onion powder. Didn't take long. And there you go. So now, what the heck do you do with all this extra? Put this on, cover it up. We'll put a label on it that says homemade onion powder. It's just like no other onion powder you ever had. It's totally worth the effort. But now we have all of this. We gotta do something with it, and we gotta try to preserve it. So I'm gonna show you how we preserve this. This is a canning funnel. Actually, we have a quart. This will last a long time, a month or two. So we want this to last a little bit longer. So what I've done is I've invested in a vacuum sealer that has an accessory attachment, mason jar, good lid, make sure there's no dust up here. This is an accessory from FoodSaver. It came with the FoodSaver kit I bought at a yard sale. You put that on without the ring, and it's connected to both the jar and the vacuum sealer. Press it down, press vac and seal, press it down again, and now it's vacuuming all of the air out of that container. That time it worked. You can hear it. And that's sealed all by itself. But because this isn't canning, this isn't preserving, this isn't a heat exchange, I go ahead and put the ring on tight to hold out as much air and moisture as I can. And there we have a quart and a little more of onion powder. Now, you might remember that we have more onion left that didn't fit. We're going to make rustic onion flake with that. And there you go.